Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Valhalla. Last we left off, we were, pounding a couple brewskis. They say Saturdays for the boys. Well, Saturdays for the boys, then Sundays are for the girls, I guess. No, that's misogynistic. I can't say that. Whatever. We're gonna keep that in. I accidentally clicked before I started recording, so we're just gonna read off what Dana said. So she said, "Besides, you and Gil are always so diligent and responsible that I'm boss in name only anyway." Well, not I, but Jill says, "That's good to know. On a side note, it surprises me you kept that poster of me in the room. And even more than that, you hung it in plain sight. When I gave it to you, it was more or less a joke, you know? Does it make you uncomfortable? If it doesn't make you uncomfortable, why would it make me uncomfortable? It's my own face. I'm still wondering why you did it, though. Aside from filling an empty spot in the wall, I don't really know. I thought it was funny, too." Alright, drink to that, brother. Oh, she's drinking 20% at a time. So we can only take 5 drinks. Okay, I guess it's like if someone gave you, don't know, a dildo-shaped trophy or something and you had it there as a conversation starter. Although no one comes here anyways, so it's kind of pointless. What? No steamy nights of passion? Not since a year ago, I think. I'd rather not talk about what happened then. Did someone hurt you? Because if they did, I can go dish out the pain. No, nothing of the sort. A different kind of mess. Uncomfortable mess. A not being able to have sex for reasons mess. Glad to know you have my back, though. That's what friends are for. Wait, you talk about the poster and compare it to having a dildo-shaped trophy. Another drink there. Did you just call me dildo face? That's what friends are for. Wait, did I miss something? Did she actually call... Oh, okay, I'm terrible. If it's not... I'm terrible at conversations. Hey boss, be honest with me here. About what? Who's Gil, exactly? What do you mean? You know what I mean. Who the fuck is he? Oh, yeah, that. Well, I have a couple of ideas. I know for certain that Gil was in the Hong Kong riots, and he took part in the anti-riot force before defecting. That should give me a clue as to who he is, but... So far I've only found out about one such defector, and he didn't leave Hong Kong for at least 4 years. I also know for certain that Gil was in England and France during that time frame. And it's always like that. When I think I have a clue as to who he is, something else comes up that contradicts the evidence. Open another brewski. That guy's troublesome. A bit, yeah. I wonder if Gil's alright. Oh, if it's not clear, the game is making those weird drinking sounds, so I'm sorry for those that have, sorry to those who have misophonia, which is like the hate of the sound of eating and drinking. I kind of avoid putting those sounds in. Just because I know people kind of really dislike that sound. I also try to reduce the sound of my lips smacking and the mouth sounds basically. So let's continue. You worried about him? You make it sound like I'm some emotionless robot. Let's take a drink to that, to emotionless robots. You can be hard to read. I wouldn't worry about Gil so much though. There's 3 things I know for certain about him. First, he can take care of himself. Second, you can sincerely trust him. And third, he absolutely hates bell pepper. I'll drink to that. When I was a kid, I hated bell peppers. He does? I've seen him even reject food that has been in contact with it. Man, what a baby. Unless he's allergic or something. He's not. Man, what a baby. How did you meet such a guy? He showed up in the door of the bar. What? Well, it was shortly after the whole incident with Robert and the levitation potion. Right. Levitation potion. Air quotes. It was a slow day and he just showed up at the bar. I offered him a drink, but he said he didn't have money on him. I couldn't leave him alone, so I pretty much gave the drinks for free. And after a couple, he broke down crying. Huh? We'll drink to that. Emotional breakdowns, man. Drink to it. I don't know what he did, but he was really, really regretting it. He wanted a second chance or whatever, and I told him if he could wash himself, I'd find him a job. And I'll be damned, he looked totally different the next day. Damn. I tried and failed to find out anything about him, so I decided to take him at face value. I'd judge him from what he did as an employee. And aside from the occasional sudden escapade, he's been as loyal gets. I returned the favor in kind, covering his ass from time to time, sometimes literally. What surprises me is that you took him in so easily. Another drink? I can take care of myself, and I always kept an eye on him. And besides, after the whole Robert thing, I couldn't ignore someone that desperate so easily. I see. You've made the bar more lively yourself, you know? How so? We'll drink to that, making the bar lively. Open up another brewski. Well, with the regulars you've earned, of course. Like that blonde titty hacker. I can't remember her name. Alma? I was gonna say Armitage. She's a nice girl, you know? I don't think she's young enough to be called a girl. Says the girl who's eternally 17. In any case, she's really lovely. When you hear her speak of her family, she speaks with such love. Her face just brightens up. I don't know if she's a lightweight, so I'm going to slightly start slurring. It makes me kind of jealous that she has such a close relationship with them, to be honest. You have bad relations with your family? Not bad, but I'm not exactly close to anyone aside from my mom, dad, and aunt. But back to Alma, I'm really hoping she finds a nice guy to settle with. I mean, she's so bent into finding one, I can't help but want her to succeed. Ah, I see. There's also that sex worker robot girl. I'll drink to that. She's the cutest. Ah, Dorothy. She intrigues me, though. I've seen lots of sex workers over the years, and she seems pretty giddy. It's not that she likes her job, but rather that she takes to it with such childish excitement. I've kind of noticed that too, but then again, Lilm can be weird. You think? Lilm operate in some really foreign logic. I mean, they don't really share our fear of mortality. Even if their bodies are destroyed, their minds are already backed up in the collective source. If they lose an arm, they can reattach it or replace it. Depending on the circumstances, they might not even feel pain at all. It's not like they haven't attained human-like emotions like fear or love, but they are different. Like a different culture if you must. I didn't see it that way. Aside from that, Dorothy is a DFC-7 too. It's a social interactions model or something. Let them get positive reinforcement straight from their bodies if they're fulfilling their main purpose, so I'm guessing she gets a built-in push whenever she's in a meaningful or challenging social interaction. Interesting. Need a drink after that, jeez. The name Lilum is a bit weird though. It is? You'd expect them to be called bots or dolls, but Lilum doesn't convey the image of automatons. Just a tip. Bots and dolls are considered slurs by them. Bot is akin to calling them that's the R word. I can't say that. That's a very rude word. Whatever, I'll say it. Bot is akin to calling them retarded, which was originally a classification for mental disabilities, not meant to offend anyone, and doll is like calling them fake. Thanks for the advice. That aside, do you know why they're called Lilum? As far as I know, because they all come from a bigger AI called Lilith. And Lilum are Lilith's offspring in Jewish folklore. Oh, cool. I'll drink to that. Hey, speaking of names, why don't you like being called by your full name? I have no idea what you're talking about. Don't act stupid. Alright, nervous drink. Back when you first transferred, I called you Julianne. You almost tore me a new one with your glare. See? Like that. It's no big secret. It's one of those things that feels silly when you say it out loud. Try me. Well, did you ever watch Model Warrior Julianne? Not all of it, but my little sister's a big fan of the reruns. Back when I was in elementary school, I was a huge fan of the show. I had everything, from the dolls to the costumes to the lunchboxes. It didn't help that it was one of those shows that got strapped literally everywhere. I saw a couple of episodes once. They were really nice. It was beyond nice. The show's about a model who can transform into an armor-clad magic knight. She fights demons born from greed and vanity, how the show presented Jules hating her job because it invited enemies, and yet still found solace in trying to be a role model. Hell, the main character wasn't a kid. Julianne was an adult that became younger when transformed. I'd say it was a pretty ambitious kids show, even by today's standards. Just the fact that her enemies were literally issues dealing with beauty standards of body image, challenging as fuck. Whoa, you got excited there. And that is the problem. Back then, I was obsessed with Jules. Take a drink. I sang the songs, dressed like her. I could even recite full chapters. Something tells me you still can. That's beside the point. It was nice while I was in elementary school, but then I went to middle school, and what a surprise, tweens are jackasses. They went out of their way to tease me about the things I did back then. I don't hold it against Jules. I always hold my grudge against those fuck jobs. Sounds rough. You know how most girls worry about their thighs at that age? I worried about jerkasses singing the theme tune of the show mocking me. Anyways, every time someone calls me Julianne or Jules, I instinctively react negatively. Pavlov would be proud of me. I never talk about it because I find the whole thing too silly in retrospect. And yet, it affects you even today. There's nothing wrong with it though. It's actually kinda reasonable. I sure hope so. Come to think of it, what kind of kid were you, boss? When I was a toddler, I was the kind to always fight with kids bigger than me. I'll drink to that, brother. Then puberty happened, and I became the Merriam-Webster definition of shallow jerkwad. Around the time I turned 16, I realized what an idiot I was. Alright, 16 and an idiot, I'll drink to that. And went on to become who I am today. And the less I talk about those years from 12 to 15, the better. Fair enough. So Jill, what kind of guy was your grandpa? He was rough around the edges, kind of guy that means well, even if he says otherwise. He seemed to have a soft spot for me, though. One moment, he was congratulating my dad by berating him a little, and the next, he was playing with me. My dad worked a lot, and my mom was always traveling, so I spent most of my childhood with him. Can I ask how he died? I'm gonna take a drink to that, and I think I'll call it a day here. There's been a lot of talking, not much drink making, but drink drinking. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.